Hi. It's time. It's a nice day to start again. Today's music selection is White Wedding by Billy Idol. Well, Denise is coming. She's probably already here. I'm going to turn on my Do Not Disturb. Before we get started, we'll let that catch back up. And it's so exciting. We have a surprise guest. I'm so excited. Okay, I don't know who that person is. They just asked to join. They're not invited. I thought that was them. It wasn't them. Okay, farmyard. Denise.
I need to develop your enthusiasm for life.
No, I don't.
I need to sing. I need to I need to work on these skills. These things are very
feel more. Lauren, you
more.
might have to ask. Oh, there you are. Okay. Here she comes.
You know what I did today?
Lauren Frazier.
Oh, hello. Oh, hey.
Oh my God. I have to address the elephant in the room, Lauren. It's Denise and I. It's Denise and I. We're the elephant in the room. Everyone, Lauren's, you might even recognize her. You might not. It's going to take a second. I want you to really look at her beautiful, strikingly beautiful face. Do you recognize this woman? You may not, because I think I saw you a couple of years ago, Lauren, and she was doing chicken tricks.
Yep.
Do you recognize her now, everyone?
Yes. Chicken lady, that's what they call me.
Love it. So many people, I found you because so many people sent me your video, and I was watching, and Denise is watching too, and you just are so youthful. You're so youthful, and we thought I reached out to Lauren with potential.
Whoa, what's this? What's this we? What's this we? I had not said anything about it. It is possible I had thoughts, but I did not express anything.
That's true. I'm speaking for the group. I'm speaking for the group. It was me. I just had that image in my mind of when I saw you, and we discussed it.
And then
She's
she
like,
went and grew
actually,
up.
thank you. Well, I was like, we might need to talk to your parents.
I get it all the time. It is no worries at all. It's very common.
Now, you look older to me, so I think part of it is the videos you usually have the hair up, and also when I first saw you, you were kind of younger, so we kind of hold that.
Yeah.
Now you look like,
oh my God,
like an adult.
Yeah, I put myself together a little bit. Like straight out of my house in the morning, put anything on and make a video.
Make a video. That's what we do. That's cool.
That's not. Do you know what I did this morning?
What?
I sorted sheep, and there were 37 sheep, and there was 3 of us, and my job was to say who was pregnant. So,
oh my God,
that sounds fun.
I don't know how I did. I guessed. I just that one. So, yeah. And I don't know anything about. I mean, I have a little bit of a clue, so I just sorted away, and then I hope I was like reasonably successful, because I'm going to get a lot of grief. I put them in the nursery. That's where the pregnant ones go to have their babies. Mm-hmm. I put 8 in there. So ask me in about 6 weeks how I did. Because if I fail miserably and there's sheep having babies all over the fields because I didn't figure it out, and then there's no babies, and then of course they peed on me and they pooped on me, but it's okay because I came home and took a shower, so it's all pretty much okay now.
Farm life. Yeah. It's farm life.
Yeah.
I love it.
Tell everybody what animals that you have, because we know you as the lovely chicken lady, but you have dogs too, don't you?
Yeah, I have I have 3 personal dogs, but there's 7 dogs at my house, including family dogs and so we have 7. Then we have, I believe, 9 chickens at the moment, and a goose who just roams around with the dogs.
Goose?
Mm-hmm.
Do you name all of them? All the chickens, every chicken has a name.
At the moment, not all of them have a name. They will get names. I'm just really bad with names. It took me like months to get a puppy. It's so bad. But of course, all the dogs have names. My goose has a name. Her name is Dory because she's a little ditzy. So we can she's adorable. We love her.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. And
Denise, do you name your sheep?
Only like Lily. A few of them are named. Maybe bottle sheep, bottle babies.
Oh, okay.
Jim, of course, the ram is named. But there's so many of them now, and the chickens do have names for the most part. Do you know what Dawn did? She named the ornery chicken after me. So I'm out there one day. She's like, grab Denise, right? It's the chicken going the opposite direction. I'm like, you called that chicken Denise? She's like, yeah, that's Denise. She's an ornery chicken.
I would be
honored. So, yeah. The chickens do have names.
Somebody asked a question I was about to ask. How old were you when you started training, Lauren?
I was 13. Yeah.
Did you start TikTok around that time, or did you wait a while? I'm trying to figure out how long have I really been watching you?
So at the time when I started, it was still Musically.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Musically.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was a different vibe then, but I had it with my dog Charlotte. We would just do like trick stuff here and there, simple things like that. We weren't very good, but we just did it for fun.
Are any of us, when it comes to filming, and it's clunky, I think, for everybody. Wow, Musically. So Musically was what TikTok was called before, everyone. And the only reason that I know that is because a girl that I worked with in a vet clinic, she would sneak into the bathroom and grab my arm and be like, come in here and do this like thing with me. And I'm like, what are we doing? Like, I don't understand. And I thought, this is so silly, but I thought it was fun, like, oh, that's cute. I had no idea that would be the app that would change my life. So What do you feel like? So you started training when you were 13 and you were on Musically. What was the progression like for you where you're like, I'm known as the chicken lady? Like, how did you get from that to possibly one of the greatest compliments of all time?
So with that process, it was just, I started with my dog, of course. And then I got a chicken. And once I got it, I started doing Instagram. Yeah. And so when I did Instagram, that's kind of when I started getting more people contacting me. I tried to get a little more into social media. So it all kind of stemmed from when I had my first chicken, Koa, and I would just post random videos of us doing whatever.
That's what I remember. I think, as I think that I remember Koa. Okay.
I remember Koa. How did you even learn anything? Where'd you get your knowledge from?
That's what I want to know. You're just like struck with the knowledge?
It was trial and error, and I was one of those kids who started off with Zach George on YouTube.
Okay. So you picked up like some positive reinforcement stuff? Okay, good.
It was just that. Searching YouTube for anything I can find on tutorials. There were some
kinds of things did you look for? Do you remember? Like, what would have been the typical thing that young Lauren would have typed into the search box?
The search box would just usually be of any specific trick.
Okay.
I would just be like
specifics.
Yeah, I would just want to train a trick, and then I would just type in how to teach sit pretty, how to teach your dog to stay, and just simple things like that. And then I would from then I would find people who I liked, and I would just watch any video they had. I know I was really into Kiko Pup.
I was gonna say Kiko Pup for sure.
Yeah, that's cool.
He was kind of the one who got me thinking a little more out of the box and kind of not just doing specific tricks, more training related stuff like behavioral and all that kind
So what does that mean for you now when you said he's the one that got me thinking more out of the box, more into behavior? Why did you go that direction? Was it like a natural progression, or did you have a dog that had problems?
So my German Shepherd, she does have problems. She's reactive. I didn't really do too much reactivity training. She wasn't kind of like the inspiration for it. I think my inspiration for it was honestly, I just wanted to be the best I could be.
Well, that's a great inspiration.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful reason to be well-rounded.
Yeah, I'm competitive, so like anything that I do, I just want to be great at it.
Same.
That's good. That takes you far in life.
Yeah.
Somebody asked about. Oh, go ahead, Denise.
Well, where is life taking you?
Right now it's not like certain, but I'm just more so exploring the performance side of things. So I actually just got back from a summer tour, where I was doing like stunt dog shows for a bit.
What? Wow.
Yeah. I really want to continue with that. That's my biggest love. It's like playing with your dog every day. It's so awesome. And then on the side, I do, board and trains. I've done some of that with a couple companies. And then I really want to get into service dog stuff. That's definitely.
So you want to be a professional dog trainer?
Yeah.
That's your direction.
You want to be a real deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. How about Purina Farms? Have you thought about working there?
I haven't thought about it. No, I've kind of just been doing my own.
Some good people have gotten their start there. Sarah Brewski. There's several people who started there, and it's super cool. So I've been there. It's in St. Louis, Missouri.
What did you say the name was?
Purina Farms, the dog food. Purina Farms.
I thought you said something.
They have a campus where they have events, but then the public is like there every weekend, and what you do is like for hours you do like dog diving demonstrations, trick demonstrations. It's performance, and you can talk to Sarah about it. She'd love to talk to you.
That's cool.
She kind of talks about you learn so much about performing, being comfortable, handling errors. It was a great experience for her. And of course they help her with her bills, right? The vet bills, because she has to have the dogs to do the job. So it's, I think, a really nice direction if you just want to explore some range at some point. Where do you live?
I currently live in High Pointe. Yep.
Where?
High Pointe.
Greensboro.
High Carolina, yeah.
What?
High Pointe.
North Carolina?
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. I've been out there.
Yeah, no, it's really.
So if you want to explore the South, that might be a direction to consider. Some good trainers are coming out of that direction, and service dog stuff, very cool, very helpful.
Yeah. It's definitely, I kind of started with that just by watching like service dog handler vlogs. I was like, oh, that seems cool to train. That seems fun. And you get to help people while you're at it. So it's a win-win.
So you seem to like both things. You seem to like the dog side, and you just said helping people. Are both of those things motivators to you, or you like people?
I was kind of like that at first. I was kind of like, I don't want to deal with people in the beginning, but the more kind of doing performance type stuff, I'm just getting used to talking to people. My main reason for not really liking people is just social anxiety. So now that I'm out of my shell, talking, it's fine with me now. I don't mind it.
Just because you just did it and you just got used to it and the anxiety went away?
Yeah, partly that, and partly I realized that if it's anything to do with dogs, most of the time I'm fine. Like if it's me talking about my dogs, I'm okay. If it's performing with my dogs, I'm okay. So that's kind of how that started.
Yeah. What kind of dogs do you have now?
I currently have a Border Collie Moody mix, a Border Collie Staghound mix, and a Moody.
What? So kind of like those herding dogs. Huh?
Yeah. Tell everybody what that means.
I'm I didn't hear the last part. My thing.
Oh, Lauren, tell everybody what that means. What does that mean? Because that's not a common dog that the audience would hear. Like if I said a hanging tree cattle dog, they would be like, what?
Yeah.
I know what that is.
One of those things. Yeah.
Yeah, so Hungarian Moodies, they're another herding breed. They're one of the herding breeds that don't act as much like a herding breed. They're kind of, I feel like they're a mixture of everything because they're bred for herding purposes, alerting purposes, and ratting purposes. So they kind of have breed traits of all of those groups in them. They were just recognized for the AKC, I believe, 2 years ago. So they're a fairly new breed to the AKC, but they've been around for many years. Staghounds are pretty much just whippity mixes. So sighthound mixes that are usually bred for hunting purposes.
Where did you acquire these dogs?
Yes. I've kind of been seeing what the difference is, and I can't really find like a distinct answer. I don't know if they're like the same or if it's just called different in different areas. Not positive about that.
Okay.
But it's
a common mix in my area. Whippet, Border Collie, super common because of fly ball. So they're super quick, but they get that trainable nature from the Border Collie, but they get that speed. They're actually, in my experience, very nice dogs. The ones I have known are just, they get a lot of that Border Collie drive that's super chill off switch. So you can have, 10 of them. You know what I mean? Like you can walk 10 of them. Like, yeah, I know. They just seem like really nice dogs.
Yeah.
And I have Belgians, which are not really nice dogs. So I'm not like, I don't get to spend a lot of time around like nice dogs. So when I go to my friend's house, I'm like, this is so nice. They're so nice, So anyway, I like edgy dogs. What can I say? A little extra temperament in there.
Well,
do you have any interest in dog sports?
What did you ask her? Say it again.
Dog sports. Have you thought about that?
Yeah,
agility.
I have. I'm actually part of a fly ball team. So I do that. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I'm just not a big title person, so I don't enter in a lot of events. I don't really care too much about the titles of it. I just pretty much like to teach my dog those skill sets and apply them to shows and just to have fun with my dog.
That sounds awesome. I hope you never change. I mean that. I hope you genuinely are always like, I'm just having fun. I mean, if you want to go get titles someday, I hope you do that too. But the spirit of, I'm just doing this to have fun with my dog is like one of the coolest things that someone can do for their dog. It's probably the coolest thing.
Yeah, I feel like it helps the relationship when you know there's not much pressure on it. You're not going for wins, it's just so much easier.
So how have you integrated that stuff into your tour? Like so you're like, okay, I'm going to be part of a fly ball team and we're going to learn this skill, and then you go and you take it around and you show people, but do you set up a fly ball thing?
I have seen people do that. Right now, it's not something that, I don't have my own show, so it's kind of whatever the people I'm working with are doing.
Mm-hmm.
But my dog, she could do, if they had that out, she could do that. I've seen a lot of people, they kind of use the fly ball relay race theme to it.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll have do the jumps, but instead of it be a box turn, it'll just be around the barrel or something, or through a tube.
Barrels, you say?
I actually like that. Barrel.
Yeah, the
barrel racing.
Wait, she's back in the conversation, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. That's
Denise, you were gonna say something before. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just thinking that. So I am not a competitor, but I compete. So I'm a trainer. My heart is with dog training. I compete to demonstrate that it worked, and that's it. That really is why I go. And as soon as I accomplish whatever title I was going to do, that's the end of it. If I finish a title on Saturday and I entered on Sunday, I often won't even go on Sunday. It's like I wanted to show that this was going to work, and it worked. So dumb it piece. I do not enjoy competition. Like some people love it, and that's great. No, more power to them. I love to train. I love to train, and I don't like to do sports that have a lot of competition, because to me it's just like, I gotta pack the car, I gotta get up early in the morning, and I don't like that. Like I'm just like, I want to just train.
Yeah, and honestly, those title fees, they'll get you. They'll add up.
Someone said to me recently,
yes, they will.
It's a lot. It's a lot of money. It's a lot to invest. And someone said to me recently, we were talking about hunting though, and he said, my friends always want me to come and do these, title things and do these like competitions. And he's like, it's just a lot of work to do something with your dog for 20 minutes when I could just load all my dogs up and drive out to the prairie and work my dogs for 3 or 4 hours and them actually enjoy it and I enjoy it. So it is something to think about. Yeah. What do you really want to, do you really want to compete, or do you just want to do some of the things, and both are equally valid?
Yeah.
The one thing I would say for competition, it forces you to do things you don't want to do. So there's things I love to teach. There's things I don't like to teach. But if they matter, if I'm going to go to a competition, I don't really have the option of not doing it. So like, for example, with my dog, where I've been very weak with him is generalization. I've been way too much training at home, not nearly enough go out and do it, right? But if I'm going to compete, I already know that will drown me. And so I get my lazy butt out of bed and I go to the places. And then when I'm there, I realize I have other problems I didn't even know I had. So like fascination with dogs or whatever. And it kind of forces a different amount of training and a different degree of challenge. It's like, do I really care if this dog is 100% straight in front? It depends if it's scored. Like there's nothing like knowing before the judge. And then you go before some judges and let's say I need to get first or second place to earn points. And I keep getting third and fourth. And I'm looking at my score sheet. It's that stupid front. I keep losing a half a point. So what happens? I'm like, I gotta do better. I have to find the way, and so it kind of forces me to get better at what I do. Now, none of this is going to matter to any pet person on the planet. Like there's nothing about the skills there that have a direct relationship. But what it does do is I think it helps me understand the whole concept of thinking about training and that process. I'm really struggling with this thing. I keep fixing it. That's not working. How can I prevent it? And while I'm preventing it, how can I communicate? Like, I think that way of thinking is super useful to all dog sports. Whereas the actual things I teach, probably not. I mean, why would anybody need precision healing? But I still think, but the teaching it is hard. And I think that's good. Because whenever I start teaching tricks and I'm not going to compete, I give up when the going gets hard. It's just like, I can't stay motivated because I have no push. The stuff I do, it's like, damn it. I mean, I've spent years trying to solve problems. Years. Hopefully I usually solve them. Sometimes I don't. But it's like, I feel compelled because that's the next step, and I maybe that motivates me, and people are motivated by a million different things. I think I'm just fundamentally lazy. So I need a little bit of external sort of pressure, because like you said, you just like excellence for the sake of excellence. Clearly I don't have that. I need to be pushed.
Yeah, I'm the way where like the crowd, because with performing, most of the time your dog can like do a spin and people love it, and it could be the most sloppy whatever trick that you're doing and they don't care as long as like there's a start and a finish, people. But it's kind of something I struggle with is I do like that perfectionism. Like my dad's always like, oh, the crowd doesn't care, they still love it. I'm like, well, I care. She messed up.
But you know what I bet they do care about is a happy dog. I bet they want to see a dog barking, wagging that tail, and bouncing in the air. And I love that. Makes me happy, right? But so that side, if you can learn that, if you can teach motivation and engagement, in my opinion, the rest is much easier. The hardest thing to teach people, I find, is how to be engaging, to make the dog want to do things with you. It's because there's not a lot of have to in my training. So that means there's a lot of development of want to. which is a really great skill to have that. So I mean, I think that's kind of a cool direction that you're coming in, because I don't think that's typical. I don't think most people start out doing stunt dog shows.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing whatever I can.
That is the best plan. If you're, I don't know, just whatever.
Yeah.
Because you stay open to things that come your way, and you don't have this sort of determinism over your own trajectory.
Yeah.
What do you think you'll be doing 6 months from now?
6 months from now, honestly, the hope is to kind of just, I guess I really want to be more into social media. So maybe build my brand a little bit. My car's so dark right
I
now.
mean, girl, you got the goods.
Yeah.
You got the goods for social media. You got such a warm personality. The camera likes you. You know, like those aren't things that, like, I know that everybody thinks those are things that you just are bestowed upon you, but I actually really think that when we see that in someone, it's probably from a lot of cultivation. Like, there's a lot of, like, you're talking about performing in front of people, that takes learning how to have poise and all the things that, you know, people that are not doing that take for granted and think, oh, well, you're just really good at it. Oh, well, you're just, it's probably because you've practiced a lot. Were you like that as a little girl? Were you like me and were like,
No.
4,
No.
5, 6, 7, 8, hit it, you know? Or were you demure? You were more demure child.
Demure.
I'm very shy. I don't like it kind of takes I'm usually never the first person to like say what I do. It's usually like my friends who are like, oh, she's done this, this, and this. I'm like, I just like to be chill about everything. I don't, I just like to be calm.
Yeah.
I don't, it's weird. I kind of like to be the center of attention when like I'm performing, but
Mm-hmm.
then like when I'm just out and about and like I don't have my dog as support, then I just, can't do it.
A lot of creative people are like that. They love to share their art and their work, but the rest of the time they just really prefer to be left alone. I think that's probably a good balance.
Yeah, it
You
is.
know what? You know what I think you would love, and I don't know, somebody mentioned it in the comments. Are you familiar with freestyle?
Oh yeah, somebody did say that.
You would be so up that, Allie, because it really is very creative, and it's up to you. I mean, you could do it with a chicken, but anyway, just putting that out there. Just the whole creative aspect, in my experience being around freestyle people, is they are really good trainers. They are really good trainers, because being able to not only teach a trick, but to do it to a rhythm, and then to go to a new place where your tricks have to be on the beats. And if they're not, because life happens and there's an error or whatever, figuring out like really fast how you're going to fix that so nobody even sees it, that blows me away. I just think that's so difficult, so interesting, so challenging. And they're such good trainers. And frankly, they're really fun people. Like, I have never met a freestyle person who wasn't fun to be around.
Yeah.
They're just
Can
great.
you imagine
great
like
people.
An accountant personality, like in a freestyle?
Yeah.
They're probably really creative and fun.
They are.
Get some acting in you a little bit. Some acting.
And not even dancing necessarily. I mean, you can if you want, but often it's just the music, and it's almost more of a skit. Like Michelle Pulio is in Oregon. She tends to do more of a skit style. My friend Julie Flannery tends to do a little bit more with the music, but there's a lot of room for interpretation. But it is cool because it's like, it's a combination of healing on both sides, front, back. They must teach 100 foundation skills that they start with, like spin from the left side, spin from the right side, all these things. And then they put together this stuff, and it's just really fun. I mean, it's something for you to explore if, in your copious free time. If you feel like looking at options, I would totally recommend looking at that direction.
And then we could all come and watch whatever cool song that you chose and cheer you on. That would be so exciting. I've been watching that stuff since I was younger, and probably cry every single time, just because I know the work that went in and the heart that went in, and it's just for that little moment, you know, you just got those couple minutes and then it's over, and you'd be good at that. That's a good suggestion.
You'd be super good at it.
So tell people how they can find you besides Instagram. Is that it? Because I have not been on TikTok for a while. Are you still over there? Are you doing things?
I don't really post much. I haven't had too much luck on TikTok. I more so kind of have luck in like the Instagram and like Facebook route.
Yeah.
So for now, I'm mostly just most active on Instagram. I do have a TikTok. I believe, I'm not even on it that much, but I believe it's the same as my Instagram handle. And then my Facebook, my name Lauren Frazier, and you'll see like a chicken as my profile photo.
What's the difference in your? This is interesting to me because I'm so into social media, but I don't spend a lot of time on TikTok anymore because I felt like it was more. I just couldn't really see the benefit to my business. And I could see detriment to myself just because of where I was at that time in my life. I was feeling real feisty. And I just needed to and sometimes that will happen on Instagram, but there's this massive community and there's a place for me to pull resource from and to give my, what I have to give. It is different. It is different on Instagram. I have never heard someone as young as you say that, which is that's a compliment, by the way. The demographic of Instagram is just slightly older. And what I find interesting is all of the people that told me about you, none of them are your age. They're all my age, Denise's age. We are fascinated with you. And so I think that you should know that because, for example, my average demographic would be slightly different than Denise's even probably, but it's 25 to 50, ish. And that's interesting to me that whatever you're doing is transcending your age group and is appealing to people that are older than you.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that. Facebook, it's something that if I post in groups, people just love it. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, what do you think? If you had to guess what it was, what is it that's drawing people in? What do you think it is?
Well, I know my most common comment that I see a lot is kind of people admiring the fact that I'm not doing normal teenage things. So I'm out here training my dogs. I'm not doing the inappropriate dances or stuff like that. I'm kind of just, living life, kind of being I guess how a kid would more so be in pastimes versus
yes.
Yeah.
She's wholesome.
She's wholesome.
Wholesome girl.
That's exactly what I think that it is too, because I see it when I share my daughter.
For me, the thing that caught my attention is, damn, I know people who have spent years studying and can't get their chicken, dog, whatever, to do anything remotely like that. And here you show up and you learned on some YouTube channels and you just figured it out. That's not typical. And I mean, I have an online school, so I spend a lot of time around people who are struggling and really working at it, really working hard. But they're working so hard that it's almost like some of them take all that fun out of it. Because it's just all right, we're going to learn to dance today, damn it. Left foot forward, stomp. And you can almost feel there's no, kind of, and they're working so hard that it's there's no joy. And then when I watch you, it just feels happy and relaxed. And it feels like it's supposed to feel when you're with an animal, right? Yeah. It's just fun, and a little bit amazing, I think, for those of us in general who have struggled to learn. I know I started training dogs. I started competing when I was 13, so about your age. But I actually, the first dog I got to train, I was 8 years old, went to my grandma's house in Southern California and taught her Bichon to jump over 2 bricks and a stick. So put the stick, and then I threw a milk bone over the thing, and so the dog would jump over and eat the milk bone, come back, right? Because that was like, it was an exercise my parents were doing, because my parents had dogs and were competing. And that dog, I'm surprised she could walk by the time I left, because I must have done it for hours. That just another milk bone, another milk bone. But it's that same sense of just getting out there and kind of mimicking a little bit something you saw and having fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't even occur to me, like, is this a good dog for this? Is this not? It just was like, it was a kid having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And the more of that you can get back to, I think that's like really cool. And I know I get a little bit of grief, because I have admitted that on occasion it is possible I have a drink before I train the occasional dog. Not talking about my dogs. I'm not talking about other people's dogs. And sometimes I have friends over, and sometimes there might be even more than one drink. And then we all go outside and train dogs, right?
Yeah.
And we have the best time. It's just kind of like it gets really silly. Like, there was a seminar we did at the ranch, and when it was over, we stayed till 2 or 3 in the morning. And we were like healing with people laying on the ground and like healing over the people and falling a lot, because it's hard to heal over people. And everybody was just having a great time. And it just felt like that kind of getting back to the purpose of having a dog, which is just to enjoy the opportunity.
Without worrying what somebody's going to say about the choice you're making or the way you're doing it. Yeah, I mean, I think that the appeal, I mean, for me anyway, when I watch you, is it reminds me, and I know so many other people, of like either the little girl that we were, and not, I mean, it was because, well, certainly because when I saw you, you were much younger, but I never saw someone that looked like me ever training chickens or really dogs.
Yeah.
Still to this day, I mean, I now I know several people, but like to think back into my childhood, I would have never seen that. And so that was the connection for me, like, oh my God, that looks like something that I would have done or that I would have loved. And I think a lot of people, regardless of the way they look, felt that way. Like, man, I wish I would have done that when I was younger, or had that when I was younger. Or it reminds me of, you know, what it was like before the internet, you know, like back, you know, from a time before. So yeah, I'm glad that you notice that and see that, and that you feel embraced by this particular age group of people that are older than you, because it's hard to do. It's hard to do. It really is.
I am intrigued taking in board and trains. What are you teaching those dogs?
Yeah.
So my board and train, I actually do them like through this company. And we just do pretty much basic obedience. So it's just like the heel, sit, stay, down, come, place. That's
okay.
Kind of where I learned. Well, I did have an old previous job where like I was pretty much just given like 5 dogs to train. Usually I have like 5 dogs a day, and I would have them for like a week. And like, you know, you would teach them one thing depending on the week. And that was it was a very commercial way of training, which I personally didn't enjoy. So then I left that company. I'm with this new company where we have more time to actually work with the dogs. So it's nicer. It's still a little more, it's a little more rushed. It's kind of just, you know, we just teach the dog the behaviors. It's not much foundational stuff. Just like the very basics. And so that's kind of the board and trains I take right now. And then I did take a service dog board and train from a friend, it was great, because I was always a little on the fence about taking service dogs, because it's a big thing to train. So it was nice that it was a friend, it was someone I knew. And that was kind of my first board and train that I kind of took on my own. And she did awesome. It was pretty much just puppy foundations, working on engagement, socialization. I was on my summer tour, so it was like perfect to have a puppy at that time. That was because she got like everything she needed. So yeah,
you don't really like I did not know you were a professional dog trainer, and that matters, right? Because I should have known that. Like, I hope that when you go forward with your accounts, that you think about making sure that people like me, when we watch it, know that you're a professional dog trainer. Because I would love
She can do more things than I can do. I can tell you right now.
You can, you know, I mean, it's great that you're working for other people. It's like such a good way to learn a lot of stuff. But having said that, there are many, many people who are really good at what they do on social media, or maybe sometimes not even good, but we'll let that go for now. But because they have a presence on social media, they can make quite a nice business for themselves that can sort of cater to what interests them. And you have a skill set, especially in the board and train world, that is unusual and hard to find. So it's like, oh, I should have known that you were a professional trainer. Like, I would love to see that front and center on your social media, because if I was in your area, I guarantee you that if people were asking me, I would be sending them to you, but I would not have known. Right? So it's just something to think about, because even if you're working for other companies, you can do little stuff on the side. I think you would find yourself very busy very fast. And, you know, I don't know what you want to do eventually. Like you said, you want to do more service dogs, but you're so young that, like, man, you could not even be 30 and have touched every, you know, everything from, like, even just like taking in a puppy. My friend does this. She takes in puppies for a month and she does puppy camp for future performance dogs. So she takes in like 2 to 3 months. Works that potty training, works play, works really foundation skills, does socialization. It's like, how fun is that? Like 1 month of playing with, and it's not even the pet world. I'm not disparaging the pet world, but it is a different world. And a lot of people have kind of unrealistic expectations, and they're not going to maintain the training you put on. There's like a lot that goes there. Whereas some of these foundation skills that you obviously know how to do would have so much value for people who are like, oh, I'd love to have that person put some training. So it's just something to think about, that you might want to make sure that's a little more clear on your social media channels, so that people like me can say, oh, I know this person. She'd be super for what you need in North Carolina. There's a shortage of good dog trainers out there.
People are always asking me if I know trainers in North Carolina. I'm like, what's going on over there? What's happening? Like just last week, I think 3 people asked me. Yeah. So for sure, I think, well, first of all, when you say, I really want to get more into social media, what does that mean to you? What do you mean by that?
Just learning, I guess. There's so many aspects to social media that I feel like I don't know. Like, because content creators, it's pretty much like their livelihood, you know, it's their life, that's what they do. That's like the 9 to 5 job. So I would just love to learn more in depth about how they do it, how they grow their brand, how they grow their account. Definitely be more active, because I'm more active than I was, but I see like people are posting every day. I don't know how they do it. It's so much.
Yeah, I mean that's well. I think Denise posts more than I do. No way.
Jerri, you are the queen of social media. But you do it well, and you do it in a way that brings in followers. I just post. I mean, what I do is I do videotape most of my sessions for my own purposes. So I'll just snag 1 minute out of it and just say, but it's a very specialized audience that I have, because it's not very flashy. It's just what I'm working on, and this is what I'm thinking about. But Jerri does both. So she educates and people learn, but it's always like touchy feely, now I'm crying, which is awesome, because that's good, right? That's a great thing, you know, and your account's growing hugely as a result. So this is the person, I'm glad that you guys are like connected, because Jerri's the person I'd want to be learning from if I wanted to understand that side of social media.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to have some conversations with you about it and see how I can help you, because social media does not happen, success on social media, never, not one time has happened to anyone by accident. You can have I don't want to say that one. It's the easiest one that comes to memory. Like when somebody blows up and goes viral, that can happen. But if you don't know how to leverage that, it will go exactly the direction of Hawk Tuah, you know, and it turns into this disaster. And slow and steady does win the race. So content creators, I think in the beginning, you do spend all of your day doing it. and you have to learn how to do that as a full-time job while doing your other jobs. But over time, you do get more efficient. So what would have taken me, 8 hours to do in the beginning may only take me 2 hours now. And I've figured out along the way what's just flat out dumb that I don't need to be doing and it doesn't produce any results. What does, and then how to be really consistent. There is a science to it. There's a disciplined, I don't know, science is the right word I want to be using today, but there's like a rhythm to it. And I think you can do it. You've got such interesting content, and you've definitely got the passion and personality when you talk about it. And that's what people want to really, that's what draws people in is, wow, they're like so excited about talking about this particular thing. And it just pulls you in and makes you kind of want to listen to what they have to say. So we'll talk privately about it and see how I can't help you a little bit, because I certainly want to see more of you. I know everybody else does too.
Thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, you've got a lot to work with. And it's just making me giggle, because when you're talking about all the things that you're doing, I was like, I don't even want to say what I was doing at 19 years old. It was not any of the things that you're doing or anything that needs to be repeated on here. So you're like light years ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had my 2-month mark where my brain wanted to be a normal teenager, but then that was short. I was like, okay, that was dramatic. I'm over it.
One of the comments said you're an old soul. You're kind of an old soul. You skip through a lot of the silly stuff, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. You found something you cared about.
Yeah. And I used to kind of want to be more of like a normal teenager, because, I talk about the things I do, and, they're talking about all the things they've done. And it's kind of like, oh, you haven't done that? Oh, that's weird. Oh, you must just be lame. And so that's kind of, I feel like that's probably what stemmed my little want to be a teenager for a little bit.
Yeah.
But
the good old
now I'm like,
peer pressure, it gets to us all at some point or another.
But it's not for me. It's something that's forced, and I learned that very early, that I'm like, it's not worth it. It's not worth my time.
Yeah. So. Well, I decided to run that experiment for 10 years. So high five. You're so much smarter. You're so much smarter. Well, Lauren, thank you so much. Denise, do you have any other questions for this lovely lady?
I don't, but I do want to tell you that if you need something, I'm a resource for you. So you should feel free to reach out.
She really means that, Lauren.
I do mean it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and sometimes I can be helpful. So if there's something that you just, even if you don't know if I can be helpful, sometimes you can just tell me something and I'll say, I can be helpful. Let me do this thing for you. So love to hear more from you. Excited to watch your stuff. I love what you're doing.
Yeah,
we're grabbing you and bringing you into our little community under our little wings. So exciting. Well, thank you so much for being here, everybody. I am going to put these on YouTube. Mine just went blank there. I forgot what YouTube was called. I'm going to put these on YouTube by the following day, so that everybody that wants to watch with closed captioning, or if you just want to listen instead of randomly keep your Instagram open for 30 minutes, you can do that too. All right. We'll see you next week with our next guest. Yes. Thanks, Lauren, for being here. And Lauren, I'll talk to you on DMs.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. I loved being on this live.
Good. That's fun. Great. It's good to see you both today. Bye, guys.
Bye, Denise. Bye, Lauren.